Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell. A friend of mine picked up this old IBM Personal Computer AT a few weeks ago. He saved it from the recycle bin. It's fixing to be trashed, recycled, you know. And yeah, well, he grabbed it out of the recycle bin for me and brought it to the shop. And so today we're going to take a look to see what's inside and to see how much of it can be saved as spare parts. So that's what I'm doing today. Alright, let's get started here. You'll need this type of a driver here. This is a 3/16 hex nut driver. These are made in Germany, and you'll need this for the smaller bolts. And then you'll need, for the case screws, you'll need one like this. This is a 1/4 inch, hex nut, low torque. Okay, so yeah. Alrighty, so I think there's only one. This one has a Phillips on it, so that's not the original screw. So let me get a Phillips. Yeah, I'm going to save as many parts as I can out of this computer. You know what? Put these over here. And let's pull this off, shall we? Yeah. So there's that. There. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer so you guys can, you know, see inside there. Yeah. Don't do that, Mr. Campbell. Don't do that. Okay, yeah. We'll take a closer look at the motherboard on the shop bench inside the shop, but for now we're going to be disassembling all the parts. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is the inside of this IBM Personal Computer XT. XT stands for, actually this is not an XT, it's an AT, which stands for Advanced Technology. It's interesting to note that this computer has a Seasonic power supply. Now, I knew that Seasonic has been making power supplies for a very long time, but I didn't realize that they made power supplies way back in the early 80s. This company makes some of the best PC power supplies. They really do. In fact, whenever I do a computer build, even a modern computer build, I always choose Seasonic. And so I'm so happy that this power supply is in here. I'm definitely going to be removing this, keeping it. I'm going to recap it, refurbish it. I'm trying to think how many watts is it. Output doesn't give me the wattage. Doesn't give me the wattage. Anyway, we'll take a closer look at this. Oh, 220 watt right there. So yeah, this has plenty of power. Yeah, in fact, when I refurbish this one, I'm thinking I might put this in the AT that I have in my room. I have an IBM Personal Computer AT in my room that's in like collector's condition. There's no chips because one of the things they do at the recycling center when they get these computers in is they remove all of the socketed chips. That includes the memory chips, the ROMs, even the processor. So yeah, and it looks like the battery that was here, it did leak because there is some green right here in the math coprocessor socket. But yeah. Okay, it's got the original speaker. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep as many of these parts as possible for my AT that I have in my personal collection. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get busy here. Removing the parts. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this case or not. We'll see. I have to see the condition of it. So, yeah. So, the first thing I'm going to need to do is, well, turn it around this way, and then let me redo the camera. We'll, okay, it is zoomed out as much as it's going to go, but let's do it like that. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. As you can see here, the 4 black wires are in the center. Oh, come on out of there. Okay, so pop this up. Okay, get all this out of here. Okay, so it's got those 4 there. Okay. See, that has flatheads. Somebody put in the wrong screws for this. Yeah, they put in the wrong screws. in order to get the power supply out, it slides, I think, I should slide it like that. Okay. Pull it out. So it's not, it doesn't appear to be rusted on the bottom. We'll take a closer look at that on the workbench. But it doesn't appear to be rusted on the bottom, so that's good. Let me see. Can you still see everything? Yeah, you can still see everything. Okay. Turn this around. Okay. All right, so I'll try to save as much as possible. So the only screws I'm going to save are the original ones, the hex nut screws. The rest of them I'll throw in the garbage. But I want to try to hang on to these for sure. These here, these kind right here. These are actually nice when they have those ribs like that. It makes it where it doesn't bend as easy. I'll wipe them down with WD-40 and they'll be like brand new. So just put them there. The motherboard I'm probably just going to sell on eBay. Okay. Alright, so we'll take that out of there. Why did it flip so hard like that? See, this one's different. This one's different, the way it's made. It's different. In fact, the other one's the same way. So I got two of them that are like that. And then I got this one. This is a more common one. I'll hang on to them. Okay. Other thing I want to do is I want to keep the speaker. I want to keep that for sure. Okay. I got this stuff here. Pull this out. Okay, that's the speaker. And this is that. Yeah. Okay. I want to hang on to this board right here. And I think it has the original 3/16. Shit. Holy fuck. Those are in there awfully tight. So I have to break the seal with the higher torque standard, you know, the flat blade screwdriver. Just break that seal. And then go back with the normal 3/16 inch hex nut driver. So yeah, like that, like that. I'm gonna hang on to these hex nut bolts because these are hard to find now. And there's some there's some asshole on eBay that's selling them for like $8 for a set of 5 of them. Oh yeah, real asshole. And I know he gets them like a box of 100 from Ace Hardware. Gets them by the, you know, I think I saw him a box of 100. And he gets them for, I think like about $7.99 for the box or $8.99 for the box. And yet he gets his money back just from selling 5 of them. So yeah, but look at that. Nothing wrong with that control panel right there. It just needs to be rekeyed. And you can get brand new, these things here, if you lost the key or don't have the key to yours. This clip comes out, pull this out, and you can get these brand new with a set of keys. So, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be in bad shape. I mean, appears to be in pretty good shape. Nothing wrong with it. These are not broken, cracked. Sometimes these are cracked or split, and these are okay. So yeah, I'll keep that. That's something I'll keep. Keep the original screws. These are hard to find now. I mean, well, you can probably get them at Ace Hardware. Yeah, so I'll keep the screws. Put those there. All right. Shoot, there's no drives in here either. I think that's one of the things they do is they take the drives out too. I'll keep these. Yeah, I'll keep these. These grounding wires. I'll keep those. Okay. Wow. Okay. There's the grounding straps. I'll hang on to those. And now what? I need the speaker. Okay. I need the speaker, or save the original speaker. Wow. Okay. Alrighty. Save the original speaker. Okay. Alrighty. Oh shit. How am I gonna... Wow. You know what? Requires a little bit more torque than what I've got there. So come on. Okay. Can I get the speaker out now without damaging it? Hopefully I can. Okay. Appears to be in really good shape. Look at that. It's not blown or anything, as far as I can tell. Appears to be in really good shape. It's got the original tag on it. Yeah, 1986, March 1986. So apparently this AT was manufactured in 1986. What I usually like to do is put this screw back in here so I don't lose it. I don't want to lose it, so yeah. Just put it back in the speaker holder so I don't lose it. There you go. Okay, so there is the speaker. Okay, and then this part here, I don't know if I need to keep that or not. Okay, yeah, I don't need to keep that. I do want these though. These right here, I do want. Shit. Damn, I do want these plastic things that the longer cards slide into. I do want to keep those. So, yeah. Do want to hang on to those. Yeah. Come on, get off of there. Okay. Alrighty. Last but not least, the motherboard. I'll do that after a quick coffee break. Alright, let's remove this motherboard, shall we? Yeah. Let's remove this motherboard. Okay. So, let me see if I can touch something metal. Okay. Is there another screw? Oh, there's another screw. Okay. Alrighty, another screw. It's interesting the way they did this crystal. And that's a 12 megahertz, so apparently it was a 6 megahertz processor, 286 processor. So, yeah. Okay, so will this come out of here? Yeah, it comes out. It comes out, people. And we'll take a closer look at this motherboard on my workbench in the shop. So, yeah. Okay. That's interesting that it has this piece down here. It's got this. So I'm trying to think if I can save this case or not. Okay, let me pull these out. Will this come out, or does it pop out? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, yeah, so that does pop out. I want to hang on to those. They have to come out if I decide to recondition this case. Now, I might just wash it and rinse it and let it air dry overnight. And then I'll put a couple of thin coats of Rust-Oleum paint on it. Yeah. Okay, so I'm keeping those. Okay. Still recording? Yeah, still recording. Okay, so let's pull these out. You know, these brass screws here may be the original screws. They may be the original screws. Ow. Why didn't it just use Phillips?
Okay. So, what the heck is this? Why was this put here? I'll hang on to it though, because it is part of this computer. So, I'll hang on to that, because it is part of that computer. And then we have like a shield thing here. Let me go ahead and remove that. I just want to see how far gone this case is and see if I can restore it. Yeah, see if I can restore it. Yep. Now this flat paint right here, this is a special kind of paint. I think it's a, I don't know, it might be just flat black paint. See, it's got this. Why would they also have that? Like it touches like the bottom of those slot covers. It's interesting the way this was made. Very interesting the way that was made. Okay, so I might be able to save this case. I thought it was rusted more than what it was. See, because the paint's coming off right here. Might have to have my friend take this to a guy that he knows that has a sandblasting machine. Have him sandblast this case. And, yeah. And then I'll just re-spray paint it. This will have to come off. This will have to come off. In fact, see if I can take it off now. Yeah. Come on off there, you bitch. I know you want to come off. I don't want to break it. Come on off. Come on off, you fuck. There it is. I got that off. It took some of the paint with it. So they might have slapped this on before the paint even dried. I'll hang on to it though. I just got to get that off. Okay, I got to take this part off right here. Wow. It's really interesting the way this case is made. It's just very interesting the way it's made. Yeah. It's got that piece that slips in, you know, cover. So yeah, I got to keep that piece too. Yeah. Okay. I have to, well, I want to remove, I want to carefully remove this label. I want to try to hang on to it. I want to hang on to that label there, and especially that label. This one I don't care about. It's too far gone, and it's a paper label, so I'll just remove that, remove the tape and everything to get this ready for sandblasting. And the guy will sandblast all the paint. I mean, it'll sandblast it, the metal, right down to the metal. He'll sandblast all the paint off of here. And then I'll wash it, rinse it, let it air dry overnight. And then I'll put some primer on it. I'll prime the whole thing with Rust-Oleum
primer for metal, and then I'll put a couple of thin, two thin coats of satin black paint on it, and it should look like brand new when I get finished with it. And then I'll put these labels back on. I have stuff that special 3M double-sided tape is real thin. It's as thin as Scotch tape, but you put it on the back of these, and you'll be able to put these back on. But you have to let the paint dry, and the paint has to be at least satin. It cannot be flat or semi-flat. It has to be at least satin or semi-gloss or gloss in order for the double-sided tape to stick properly. Anyway, I'm going to show you the stuff that I use for removing those labels. I use this stuff here. This is really good stuff. This is the best stuff that you can use for removing address labels from magazines. I highly recommend this stuff here. And it also comes with a green background. You don't want that one. You want this one. This is the exact one that you want right here. Now, it's expensive. This bottle will cost you about between $13 and $15 for this little bottle. But this stuff works really good for dissolving not only the adhesive of address labels, but also works for removing stuff like this. And then this thing comes with it. You pour a little bit of liquid in there, and then it spills onto the magazine labels. Mainly designed for removing magazine labels, and it works really good. It's really smooth right here. You can really get in there after you let it sit for a few minutes. Then you can really just, pull that magazine label right off, scrape it right off, and the magazine cover will remain really nice. And you just let it dry, and it's just perfect. But this can also be used. Now, I wouldn't recommend using something like this for taking off labels like that. I mean, unless you're never going to use this for removing magazine address labels. Then it's okay, just use this by all means. But if you're also going to be using this for what it's meant for, removing the address labels on magazines, then only use this for that purpose. So what you do is you want gravity to work in your favor. So you would want to put, like in this instance, the case, you'd want to put it up on its front, and you want to just just pour this stuff just a little bit, so let it seep in underneath the label. And let it seep, and then you just gently try to, pry it up from one corner or one edge, and trust me, that adhesive will dissolve. And you'll be able to safely remove these labels without damaging them. So I just thought I'd show you this stuff here. I've never seen anyone show this stuff on their Retro Computer channel. And this is one of the things that you really should have, if you're dealing with retro computers, especially if, you get old computer magazines with address labels on them. Oh yeah, you want this stuff here. Okay, so as soon as I get those address labels off of there and this tape and stuff off of there, this will be ready for sandblasting. I think the guy charges like $50 for that, but that's actually a good deal because it's professional. They do it professionally. So yeah, they'll sandblast this case right down to the metal. They'll sandblast all the paint off of there, and it'll look like a brand new case when they're done. It should look like brand new. And then when I get it back, I'll wash it with Dawn dishwashing liquid and rinse it really good with hot water, let it dry overnight. And then it'll be ready for priming and painting. So, yeah. The bottom part, the bottom is like
See how the paint's coming off? I mean, oh my God, man, look at that. Paint's actually coming off. But, okay, so the bottom, let me go like that. But yeah, the bottom's all scratched up. You know, it's all scratched up. Yeah. Yeah, it's all scratched up. This is where the new feet go. And I'm going to show you the new feet. So let me go get them. Okay, so here are the brand new 2-inch diameter cork feet. There's a guy on eBay that sells these, and I bought 2 of them. They're mainly for the 5150 base unit cork pads, but they'll work with the XT and the AT as well. Now, they're not as thick. They're not as thick as the original feet, but they'll work. They'll be fine. And then it has high quality 3M double-sided adhesive. Just peel that off and stick it to the bottom of the case, you know. It does a nice job on these. They're good quality. In case you don't realize, or in case you don't know it, cork is getting increasingly hard to find. And I found that out. I found this out from my model railroading hobby, because we usually use cork roadbed underneath our track to represent the ballast, you know, the track ballast. And that cork roadbed is getting increasingly hard to find, and I can tell by the prices. Because it's getting hard to find, the cork roadbed manufacturers are starting to increase the price quite a bit. And soon, cork will no longer be available. The planet Earth is actually running out of cork. So yeah, get these while you can, because yeah, we're running out of cork. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd show you these feet. Okay, so let's take a look at the top and the front. The front appears to be in pretty good shape. Yeah, it appears to be in pretty good shape. I'm definitely gonna... This comes off because it can be pulled out and rotated. It's spring-loaded. I didn't know that, because a lot of times people set this up. This was actually the first tower PC, because you can rotate the label, right? And you could set it up like that as a tower computer. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can set up like that as a tower computer, and the label there, it pulls out and you can rotate it. It's spring loaded, just like on the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 2 logo. You can rotate that too. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, the front part I'm going to keep. I just have to carefully remove this label here, wash and rinse this really good, and then put a couple of real thin coats of paint on here. I have paint that matches this perfectly. But the metal part, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure I can save that metal part. See how badly it's rusted? Now, I don't know if sandblasting will get rid of that. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some vinegar on that, soak that with vinegar and let it set overnight to neutralize that rust. In fact, I'll do that tonight and see how it turns out in the morning. That's the only real rust on the middle part of the case. That's the only rusty part of the case, is right there. Yeah, the rest of the case looks pretty good. It's not bad.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of the case, it's not bad. But you can see how it's spring-loaded right there. Yeah, you just push that out, and you can actually rotate the label right there. And then it uses 3/16" hex nut bolt or screws that go into this fiberglass. This is fiberglass. It's not plastic. It's either fiberglass or a really thick plastic. This is basically the same type of material that the case of the Commodore PET computer is made out of. It's the same type of material. So what I'm thinking about doing, I'm going to remove this. Yeah. Yeah, I'll remove this front piece, and when I send the main case to have it sandblasted, I think I'll include this with it. But like I said, first I'm going to soak this in distilled white vinegar, let that set overnight, and that should neutralize that rust. It appears to be just surface rust, so I might be able to deal with that. Yeah. And then send this with the case to have it sandblasted, and then I have a lot of priming and painting to do when this comes back. Yeah, a lot of priming and painting to do when that comes back. Okay, so alright. But the rest of it does not appear to be in bad shape. I mean, if you look at it, it's in pretty good shape actually. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. So, let me see if I can get this off of here. Okay, so those, well, that's too big. This one. Oh, come on, get off there. You know what? I think it'd be better to put it like, I want you guys to see what I'm doing, so, yeah. Yeah. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Just want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. It's interesting how it has this pointed metal spikes that slides into the main part of the case, the bottom part of the case. You know what? It might be better. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so there's that one. And these are coarse thread. They're real coarse thread. Look at that. They're like self-tapping. Yeah, they're self-tapping. So I'll put these in a bag, a Ziploc bag by themselves, because those go to the front of the case. Yeah, okay, so let's... Come on out of there, bitch. Come on out of there, bitch. Come on out of there. You know you want to come out. Okay, put that there like that. You know what? I'm going to do it like this. Come on out of there. Mr. Campbell, what's with all the stupid sound effects? Hey, watch it, man. Hey, man. It fell in. I'll get it out later. I'll get it out later. Shit. I got the original. There's 5 of them, of course. I'll put those in a Ziploc bag, keep them separate. I'll mark on the bag
front of the IBM AT case. So, yeah. Now, the case on the Amiga 2000 is made the same way. Yeah, it's made the same way. The top cover for the Amiga 2000 is made exactly the same way. Yeah. Okay, so that comes off. All right. Yeah, so there's that. I gotta soak that with vinegar tonight. And put this over here. There's those spikes. There's one on the other side too. So yeah, I'll put this inside the shop. Okay, where'd that fucking screw go? There's 6 of them. God damn it. What the fuck is that? I don't know what the fuck that is. Shit, I dropped one of the screws. Anyway, there is the front of the IBM Personal Computer AT. It's like a really thick plastic, almost like a fiberglass. It's made out of the same type of material that many computers from this time period are made out of. Same thick. I mean, this is some really thick plastic. Now, why don't they make plastic fronts like this today? This is quality. This is really good quality. They just don't make stuff like this anymore. But you can see right here, you can push that in, and you can change, you can turn the logo around if you need to. If you want to use this as a tower case, that is so cool the way that's made. That's your center nub right there. Now, like I said, the Amiga 2000 top cover is made the same way. It's made the same way. Yeah, it too is very high quality. All right, here is the Seasonic power supply that came out of that IBM PC AT computer. As you can see, it's in really good shape. None of the wires are broken or anything like that. You know, and this has 4 Molex connectors on it, 4 of them. Whereas I believe the PC, the IBM PC, only had 2 Molex connectors. So I do plan on doing a total recap on this power supply and total refurbishment. I'm going to clean the case really good. I'm also going to replace the, let me turn around this way. I'm also going to replace that fan right there. That's a high quality Japanese made fan, ball bearing of course. And I'll replace it with a brand new fan, you know, ball bearing fan that's also made in Japan. And yeah, that's a Panoflow. Those are good fans. And yeah, as you can see, it's in really nice shape. I mean, there's no rust anywhere. I just need to use some WD-40. WD-40, get all of this off of there. Wipe it down with a rag spray with WD-40, and then wipe it down again with a clean rag, because you don't want a bunch of like oily film on here. Just you want to condition the metal and clean it,
and then you wipe that WD-40 off. But see, even the bottom is not rusty at all. 'Cause a lot of times when you get these old IBM ATs, the bottom of the power supply be rusted, and usually the bottom of the case is also rusted too. So yeah, this power supply is in pretty good shape. These are usually broken, and this one's not broken. It just needs a sponge bath. You know, a real quick sponge bath. But yeah, when I get finished with this power supply, it will look like brand new. It most definitely will look like brand new. Okay, so this here is the motherboard. Yeah, the recycling center, one of the things they do is they remove all the socketed chips. So those will have to be replaced. I decided I'm not going to keep this motherboard because this is an early Rev 1 motherboard. And you can tell by the fact that it has a 12 megahertz crystal, which means a 6 megahertz 286 processor was installed. Also, the memory chips here were most likely piggybacked. Whereas on the Rev 3 board, which is what I have in my IBM PC AT that's in my computer room in collector's condition, it has the 2 rows of higher density RAM that goes this way. There's like 2 rows. And I think that's the higher density memory. It's like, I think it's 41256 memory. And of course, 2 banks would give you your 512K of memory. Okay, and then there's ROMs. Yeah. So, yeah. A lot of times on a Rev 3, there's only 2 ROM sockets because that's all you need is 2 ROMs, not 4 ROMs. So, yeah. So, yeah, this is a Rev 1 board. And another reason why I'm thinking about not keeping it is if you look here, there was a battery here for the battery for the battery backup for the BIOS ROM, whatever, you know. There's a battery that plugs into it plugs into, I don't see where it plugs in, but I know it plugs in here somewhere. Let me see. Look a little bit closer. I don't see where the battery plugs in. What the hell? Oh, I see where. I see where. It plugs in right there. Okay, so let me zoom in on that area. Yeah, let me zoom in on that area. We'll take a closer look at it, so you'll see why I don't want to keep this board. The battery had leaked, and it turned this socket green. That's for the math coprocessor. Okay. And it turned, a lot of this area here is all green colored. It turned those leads on those 2 parts green. Let me move it up a little bit. So, yeah, there's too much corrosion. I would have to unsolder all these parts. Unsolder this 40-pin socket and clean up this board really good, and then solder on all new parts. And maybe then this board would be okay. But I'm getting too old to do stuff like this. Now, if this, I could see if it was an Amiga computer motherboard, then yes, I would do it, because I love the Amiga computer. In my professional opinion, for, you know, someone that's been working with computers since 1981, the only computers today that are really worth collecting and messing around with as a computer, you know, vintage computer hobby, are the legacy PCs, you know, the old PCs, and the Amiga computer. Those are the only 2 platforms that I think, in my professional opinion, they're the only 2 platforms that are worth my time.
the old PCs and the Amiga computer. I mean, I also have Atari STs, but most of the software that came out for the Atari ST also came out, for the Amiga, and the Amiga versions are a lot better. Okay, and then there's literally thousands and thousands of games when you consider the DOS time period all the way up to, the end of the Windows XP time period, which is 2014, right? There are literally thousands and thousands of games available for the old PCs. So yeah, why mess around with this 8-bit crap like the Commodore 64, the Atari 8-bit computers, the Apple II computers? I mean, I just don't get it. What do you guys see in those 8-bit computers? Because I got bored with the Commodore 64 way back in 1984-85. And when I found out that the Atari ST was being released, and then later on the Amiga computer was being released, and when I saw the graphics and the sound of what those computers were capable of, I couldn't wait for those computers to come out. And I remember getting my first Atari 520 ST and my first Amiga 1000. Well, back then it was just called the Amiga. And, oh man. Then I sold all of my 8-bit crap, yes, crap, and I never looked back. Who in the hell in their right mind would? When you've got an Amiga, you got an Atari ST and you got an Amiga computer, which blows the doors off any and all 8-bit computers. I just don't get it. Why are you guys still fucking around with the 8-bit shit? Seriously. I couldn't believe it. The Commodore 64 is actually a lot more popular than the Amiga. There are more Commodore users groups, for instance, in the United States, than there are Amiga users groups. And I just don't get it. I really don't. Are you people that simple-minded? Seriously, are you that simple-minded? So please leave a comment. Why do you like the 8-bit computers so much? Why do you love the Commodore 64? I want to hear from you. Please try to make me understand the insanity of still fucking around with the 8-bit computers in 2025 when you have the Amiga or the legacy PCs. I want to try to understand the insanity. Okay? Because, man, I just don't get it. I really don't. But anyway, yeah, this motherboard has a lot of battery, it's not acid, it's actually battery alkaline leakage. And it has damaged the motherboard. And I just don't have time. I'm getting old. Well, I am old. And I just don't have time anymore to work on all these older computers. Now, like I said, if this was an Amiga computer, yes, I would definitely repair it. And, yeah. But an old IBM PC AT computer, no, these are a dime a dozen. I can get these anytime I want if I really want them. I mean, all you have to do is go up to your recycle center and just look in the bins, and these will probably be all in there. So, yeah. And like I said, I already have one in collector's condition sitting in my computer room, which I will show in later videos, so stay tuned for that. I plan on showing you guys a lot of my favorite DOS games from the 286 time period, so yeah, stay tuned for all that wonderful content. But yeah, it's a shame that they remove all the chips, because I could have used like an extra set of ROMs. I could have used that 286 processor, saved that as a spare. I could have, saved these memory chips, but damn, they took them all. Took all the memory chips. Yeah. So yeah, I'm selling this motherboard for $100. I already have a listing up on eBay. I'm selling this board for $100. And I think that's a fair price. I think it's a fair price. 100 bucks. Yeah, I think that's a fair price. and I'm selling the case. I decided I'm not really going to mess with the case. I'm going to keep the front piece, you know, as a spare, but the metal part, it's too far gone. It's rusted on the one side. I don't really feel like messing with it. Like I said, I'm old, and you know, I'm very careful now, you know, what I spend my time on. And I mean, I know I can get that case sandblasted, get all the original paint off it, but then I'd have to, you know, spray some Rust-Oleum primer on, then put 2 or 3 coats of paint on. I really don't feel like going through all that crap. You know, especially like I said, I already have one, you know, IBM PC AT in my computer room in collector's condition. So, but I will save that front piece. The front piece and the parts that I took off, I will save those as spare parts for my PC AT. But yeah, and so I'm selling the case, just the metal part and the bottom part, for $80. I think someone will snatch it up. But I'm going to keep the front. The front's not part of the case. I'll be selling. I'll be keeping that as a spare for my own computer. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more exciting content here on the Hans Campbell Show. It's fall. Well, it is the fall right now. So soon, I'm going to be setting up my Halloween Amiga 2000 computer starting next month, October. I'm going to be doing 2 videos per week. Tuesday and Fridays when I'll be releasing the videos. They'll mainly be Amiga software related videos and Legacy PC software related videos. So stay tuned for all this wonderful content coming up this fall and this winter. Anyway, that's it. My name is Hans George Campbell, and until next time.